So I have two friends. One of my friends said this friend that's going to be on the show got put in the friend zone. We're going to find out more right after this. Let's go.
Love the chase and the hunt, and I set the pace when I'm running. I always take what I want and I always give it 100. Don't need a bank, no I'm funded. Play the game like it's nothing. I'm always thankful for something. Don't take for granted, stay humble. Now wake up, it's time to look at the enemy. Look in the mirror if he is no friend to me.
What is going on, everybody? It is lunchtime. Time to get busy with lunch with the Clydesdale. We've got so many people in the house. Cory Leonard, Jenny from Dense Updates, Lido. Listen, this is my time. My time. Let's make that perfectly clear. No, it's all right. I don't own any time. He can be on whenever he wants. We got Megan. We got Jody. We got Shay, Kenneth, Terry, Meredith. Holy crap.
Cory's jazzed.
Cow. What is going on? Cory's jazzed. And Kenneth, thank you for take a second to like, subscribe, support the show for free. Yes, we are 36 subscribers away from 3K.
Ooh.
36 subscribers away from 3K. I would love to hit that by the end of the year. We made a nice bump yesterday. So, yeah, keep hitting that subscribe button, people. Tell your friends, tell your family, all of that. There's Shanna. And we got Yuki, what? Yuki Zazzy. I think that is Denise Moore, and she has just changed her name. So, and with us today, we have Triston Patrick, head coach, Ascend athlete.
Yes.
Right?
Yeah.
And good friend. We've been hanging out for the last couple of years at the games and different events. You are a coach of elite athletes. What's going on, brother?
Living the life, dude. Qualifier season is in full swing. So people have been doing TFX qualifiers, Fittest of the Coast. Got Jacob getting ready to go to Crash this weekend and getting ready to go celebrate my wife and I's first wedding anniversary this weekend.
So where are you heading?
We're going to go out past Austin. We're going to go glamping. Have you heard of glamping?
I am aware of.
Yeah. So
never have.
Secluded area, half tent, half modern amenities. My wife very much likes having showers and air conditioning and those things, but we're just going to go get away for a couple days, take the dog, just relax.
Yeah. My wife and I tried camping one time, and she made it abundantly clear that would be the last time we tried camping.
Yeah. Courtney went camping with me once, and I grew up in northwestern New Mexico. So camping there is great. You go to Colorado. It's beautiful. It's cool. It's amazing. We went camping with some friends down here in East Texas. Not so great. Not so cool. Lots of bugs. Wife was not thrilled. But
Meredith, camping is not for the faint of heart.
Yeah. So I'm determined to eventually get her to go camping again, but it'll be I'll take her to like New Mexico or Colorado or somewhere where it's good camping.
It's funny because my daughter moved to Montana earlier this year, and they go camping like every other weekend.
Yeah, it's probably great.
Right. They go into the mountains, they go by the lake, they go paddleboarding, they do all the stuff. They take their dogs, and they have a blast. But it has snowed twice there already.
Dang.
So it looks like the weekends of camping are all over.
Yeah, probably.
Joseph says, all you need for camping is a good bottle of tequila.
I mean, that definitely can make it a better experience. Yes, Cory, you're right. Glamping is camping for bougie people.
Yeah. I think what's happened is YouTube is trying this thing where they're showing your username instead of your real name now.
Maybe. Yeah.
And I think it happened on like a couple months ago, and now I'm getting hit by it.
Interesting.
That's why we have Yuki Zazzy and I don't have Joseph's first name up on the board. Now I'm going to have to remember everybody's name, which is
Everybody's username.
crazy.
So yeah, it'll be fun. I'm excited.
Yeah, good times. So let's talk. Again, these Friends with episodes are just us shooting the shit. We're just going to shoot the shit. But recently you made the news. Hattie Kenyo was on Glitton Things, and she announced that she had left your coaching expertise to try something new. Mm-hmm. You were in the chat at the time. You have a friend named Cory who's kind of an asshole. In the chat, he said that you were put in the friend zone.
I mean, it kind of feels like that, right? No, I'm just kidding.
I mean, to be clear, like there's no romantic there was no romantic implications in that at all.
No.
And Cory wasn't making that implication. But it's got to feel at some point like you've worked with this individual for a long time. You finally get her to the CrossFit Games, and then she wants to try something new. It's got to be a gut punch, at least a little bit.
Sure. Yeah. I mean, it definitely, I didn't love it. Right. I think, I mean, you know me pretty well at this point. I'm pretty logical with most of my thought processes and things like that. And something I've actually said for years, I've joked with my wife before and our other coaches, is every athlete you ever coach will fire you. For one reason or another. The day will come where
it could be for retirement. It could be for another coach. It could be whatever.
And as a coach, I want it to be retirement. I want it to be I'm stepping away. I want it to be whatever. But it's an inevitable eventuality that at some point it's going to be, I think I need to go somewhere else to get what I need. Right. So like it sucks, but it was bound to happen eventually, I think. Obviously this is for me the kind of first time this has happened. But at the end of the day, like, and I told Hattie this when we talked, she needs to do what she thinks is best for her. Obviously I would have loved to continue to work with her and help her keep chasing down her games goals and things like that. But I understand, like I get it. Right. So kind of stinks for sure. But I mean, I have nothing but love for Hattie. Like we had a hell of a ride. I think I don't have a ton of like, gee, I wish I would have. Like, of course you look back in hindsight and there's things you could have done better, things you didn't know at the time, you know, whatnot, all of that stuff. But I'm super proud of the work that she was able to do and we were able to do together. And I hope that she has continued success.
So there's some questions in the chat I want to bring up, but I this one first. A not kinda, I am 100%. So if people don't recall, you kind of got into individual coaching when Kelly Baker wanted to make a run.
Yes.
You got her to the games.
Yes.
She fires you because she wants to start a family.
Selfish.
Completely different reason. And in fact, she has been very successful in that endeavor.
Yes, she has.
Right. So now she's a mother and she's moved on with, and it's really cool. As you were working with Kelly, you had a group of athletes kind of come to you, and one of those was Hattie.
Mm-hmm.
And so you started working with her and you get her to the games. Does it get any easier as you move forward, or is it tough every time an athlete's like, I need to take a step back? Or is it different for each athlete?
I think it's different for each athlete. Like with Kelly B, it was, I mean, we did the thing. Like we did the thing. And the next chapter was always probably going to be different. With Hattie, it was like, okay, we got there And then we got there again after a rough and tumble kind of year. And I didn't necessarily expect that to end. Right. So a little bit different for sure. And I think it's different with all athletes, even athletes that I coach who are not games athletes and are semifinals athletes or quarterfinals athletes, and they decide to leave for one reason or they have to leave. I think it's different because each relationship with each athlete is different.
So I know the answer to this, but I'm going to ask it for Jody. Did you coach her when she was in Bali?
Yes. Yeah. The last time she was in Bali, I was coaching her.
So I always ask you a question almost every time we talk. You're probably sick of me saying it, but in light of what's happened, I want to ask it again.
I know what this question is.
So in management classes, they describe managers as two types of people. And that is, are you the person that likes to build the thing from scratch?
Mm-hmm.
Or are you the person that likes to polish the talent that's already there? And so I've asked you that question a million times. And I think it's been a fluid answer.
I think it is, yeah.
Depending on where you are. So at this point, where do you put yourself as? Are you the builder of the talent or the polisher of the talent?
I think I'm probably still better equipped to build the talent. I think if you look now, granted, I haven't, like, Hattie went to the games once. She went, Lazar year, it was obviously crazy. She made it back last year or this year. Placement wasn't quite as good as the year prior. All of those things. I think you have to have a lot of time to continue to polish something, almost, if that makes sense. But I think
here's my interpretation of just visually watching you over the years, right?
Sure.
I think you're really good at building it. You haven't had the opportunity to polish it.
And that may be true. I also, and you could ask the on-site athletes that we have down here in Houston who I see train multiple times a week. And I mean, you could get some good stories out of Jacob too. I think my disposition is probably naturally more of the kind of person who can build. Like, I very much will try to pull it out of people in a positive way in training, but also in a direct way. Like, and I think part of that comes from my time in the military, and things like that. Like, it's almost like the scene from Armageddon where they're all going to flight school and the pilot instructor, he's like, I'm going to twist you and I'm going to like do whatever. Like, that is a lot of how I operate. Like, it's a very positive environment, but you're going to go through it. But I know that that's what you need to do to reach where you want to go. And I know what kind of hammers to use at what times for that kind of building or like forging process, I think. It's also more fun. I mean, we had an athlete doing the TFX qualifiers who was, he's been trying to make pro for a little while, and they had an event, one of the workouts that ended on like 50 dumbbell snatch with a 15 to 35. And I was judging him and walking him through the workout. And during the dumbbell snatches, he's doing them, and everybody who made pro basically went unbroken on that. You had to. And I told him while he was doing the workout, he was probably at 20 or 25. I said, find a way to move the dumbbell faster. Like, I don't care. Find a way to go faster. And one of my other athletes came up to me and was like, you said that. And I was like, whoa. It was like, yeah, like pulling it out of him. Find a way to go faster. It's a 50-pound dumbbell. You deadlift like 600 pounds. Figure it out. Right. So I think my disposition might be naturally toward what you have kind of said from day one. But I'd like to polish some more. Right.
Well, and I'm going to say this because I don't want you to have to make excuses. Right.
Sure.
Kelly Baker's goal was to make it to the games.
Mm-hmm.
You did that. She then retires to become a mom, and you really never had the opportunity to take her a step further. She was on the brink of top 20.
Mm-hmm.
Right. Truly, she was top 20 because someone withdrew, and it just happened at a weird time. And but she didn't really get credit for it. Right.
Right.
And you never got the opportunity to polish it for the next season.
Right.
Hattie, you have the wild, wacky Lazar death situation that isn't even, it makes it hard to even judge how that games went. And then at Wadapalooza, she injures herself, and you have no training time between then and this year's games, and you still get her back, but you didn't really get the chance to polish it, right? You were just in survival mode for the season.
Very much so.
And when I finish the second piece of the documentary, you'll see like that is what was happening. This year's games turned into survival mode because of everything she'd been throughout the year.
Yeah.
And then people like Jacob, you haven't hit the first goal yet. You're still in the building process, right? You need to get him to the games.
Yeah.
And so I don't think you've had the opportunity to polish.
Yeah. And I think probably if we went back through all the different coaches' resumes, or not resumes, but I guess just history, they probably had a time where they were building more than they were polishing. And then they got people there consistently and they figured out that kind of side of things, or they came in super early and had an athlete make it and then continue to make it as the field got harder. So they were kind of polishing as they went versus having to build an athlete in the modern era where it's just more competitive. Right. So I think it's probably a natural evolution.
Dan Church, his knives keep getting stolen before he gets to sharpen them.
That's funny.
So on another note, we've hit that to death. Don't need to keep dwelling on it. WFP. If I am accurate, none of your athletes participated in WFP.
No. Madison McElhaney did one of the qualifiers at the very beginning of the year. And that was it.
Was that a strategic decision on your part, or just circumstances led to that?
She just wanted to give it a rip and see.
Yeah, but your other athletes did not participate. Was it strategic, or was it just
they have no interest?
Okay. So
I'm not going to make them do something they don't want to do, especially if they have to do another qualifier on top of the qualifiers that are already required during that time of the year, training. Like, why would I? If you don't do the whole season, it's not a ton of a point as far as I understand it, points wise and things like that. So I didn't really push anybody to do it if they didn't have interest already.
You are knee deep in the semifinal level athletes. You've taken them and you've built them to games athletes. Is there a way of looking at WFP that you think is beneficial for those athletes? Or do you think because of the qualifiers and when they fall, it just isn't conducive for that level of athlete to use as a build-up?
It's just at the wrong damn time of the year, man. Like
it's logistics.
Yeah, it's just logistics. It's good for athletes who are semifinals level or trying to breach semifinals level to get off-season competition experience, get reps at things. That's why TFX, Fittest to the Coast, Wadapalooza, that's why those places get attendance from that level of athlete, and it's always kind of on the calendar. But their qualifier is just before or just after the Open, which will be right around quarterfinals this year. It's just logistically, if it's not an athlete's number one, it's not going to make sense for them to do logistically, because you're going to have to put something else as a secondary priority. Right. And
I heard James Spriggs talk about this on Boys Interrupted, that because of the way the season went this year, he couldn't get a cycle in, like a strength cycle in, that fit within the year, because he was always competing. If this is maintained forward, our athletes going to fall apart because they don't have the time to build. It's just going to be sustain. Or am I just wrong? Like Carolyn Prevost would tell me, I don't train to build. I train to be fit all year round.
But then you're not getting better. Right. Okay. So like so you say, I'm going to do all these things. And then you're basically just running from peak to peak, or trying to hold a peak as long as you can. So then you're not really training. And then you're kind of at that, like trying to hold a peak for a long time is where you get like the injury risk. Right. Or you say, I'm going to maintenance, is what the programming talk is. I'm going to maintenance all year. I'm just going to hold my level of fitness, and I'm going to maintenance and do all these competitions. Well, it's fine. You might get marginally fitter, but you're not going to make the forward progress that you could if you actually trained, like training adaptation. Right. And then the other response is, well, I need to train to get better, so I'm going to not do one of these things or X, Y, and Z of these things. It varies a little bit depending on, I guess, what the athlete needs to get better at, what they need for training, and how long it takes. Like strength takes time. That's why James probably brought that up. Like if you need time to move through a lifting cycle consistently to get progressive overload or to get the end result of the program, right? Endurance training, yeah, it's similar, but like there's a little bit more room for variance and things like that. Yeah, exactly, Cory. So I just think it puts people in a subpar spot, and you're just not gonna have the training time to improve.
Well, and James has always had, like, he has one big hole, and it is strength, right? The rest of the stuff he has improved so tremendously and gotten to a great place that he's going to be competitive at every comp if he can negate the damage of the strength event.
Yeah. And I mean, there's ways to program where you can get, I mean, I don't want this to be a programming show, but like you can get marginal strength gains or like strength improvements by doing like low rep, high intensity lifting, because you're just getting the CNS to adapt, which is what you would want to do to keep volume low if you're just going from competition to competition. But you're not getting like the raw strength adaptation of having 8 weeks to go through 5x5, or, like that's kind of the thing that he probably felt like he was missing. Because that stuff takes time and you need to recover from it and things like that.
Cory Leonard, McElhaney, like the Tabasco people. No, but it's a great analogy, because if people don't know Madison's story, like, she is one of my favorite athletes in the space.
She's great.
She is a former UFC fighter who went undefeated in 5 attempts, broke her ankle in her final match, and continued on with a broken ankle. Like, she is such a badass. Such a badass.
She's awesome. I love Maddie.
Yeah. she's just one of my favorite people to watch. And she is so freaking strong with the Olympic lifts. And if you looked at her, you'd be like, nah.
Mm-hmm.
But yeah, she does so much with so little. That little body, anyway.
Yeah, I think the WFP thing, though, for most of my athletes has just been mainly a logistical thing. And then knowing, like, oh, I go do one and then what? Right.
Yeah. Well, and I think like this first year has been such a debacle with the picking of the 20. Like who got it, who didn't get it.
Yeah.
Now, I think the ship will righten somewhat as now you're earning that spot in the top 20.
Sure.
And then it gives you a goal to shoot for, but yeah, we don't have to talk about WFP for the whole thing. Any other thoughts on the CrossFit Games season coming up or that we just had that has been rattling around in that brain of yours?
This year was a lot, I think, with the way semifinals was set up. Just very not, I guess, a little disjointed was the word, probably. The games was great. I mean, Albany's not what I would call a destination, but the games was great. It felt like the games. The vibe was really good. I think the field was nice and competitive as well. Overall, the men's race was obviously super entertaining to watch. Yeah, I'll be curious to see the direction they kind of go this next year. I think it'll be good. I feel like we're going to get the semifinals kind of being outsourced again. And we'll just kind of see what events they end up picking and things like that.
Yeah, I think it all depends on the partnership level.
Right.
So the one thing that has me optimistic is when you look at Wodapalooza SoCal and the entire games team being at Wodapalooza SoCal. Right?
Okay. Yeah.
So now you're talking to Dylan, you're talking to the organizers, and that becomes a partnership now as opposed to a competitor.
Right.
If CrossFit is going to continue in this partnership mentality with these third-party semifinals, then I think that we have a better shot at a better season moving forward.
Yeah, I agree. 100%.
Hold on. What? No one wanted to go the warm welcoming metropolis that is Albany. It was hot in Albany.
It was toasty.
Yeah. It wasn't about the weather. It was just about the surrounding area.
Yeah, it was a little.
Once you got in the venue, it was pretty good.
Yeah, I liked the venue.
The floor and the lighting and all that stuff were really good. I wish Vendor Village was closer.
Yeah, I only went like once. Well, I went to the upstairs one.
Yeah,
a couple times, and then I went once to the one like in the street.
Well, the one in the street was closer for the spectators because they had to enter through that way to get into the venue. The one where the athletes were, which was convenient for us, that's where media and athletes were housed. That's the one I went to as well. But it just having it in a separate building was very weird.
Yeah, I could see how that would be.
And even the athletes in a separate building was weird.
Yeah, we were kind of in our own little realm most of the weekend.
Yeah. But again, back to the partnerships. If they continue with this partnership stuff, like NorCal Classic, if they get some partnering with the games team to say, hey, you can't do this event. There's no way it's going to be fair, or just some expertise or some knowledge to say, don't have a curved start line. Let's go with a straight start line.
Oh, when I think NorCal has a ton of potential for sure. When I think about NorCal being there this year, it's like a fever dream. It was just so insane, dude. It was so insane.
it has all the vibes of what you want to have a CrossFit competition to have.
Yeah, it was
All
great.
the vibes, right? It just, the execution fell a bit short.
It's definitely a comp I will never forget going to. That's for sure.
But great vendor village.
Vendor Village was huge.
Great community event.
Yeah.
Tons of people there watching.
Yeah. Crowd was lit too.
So all of that cool stuff, if we could just clean up a little bit of the stuff on the floor.
Yeah. And all the stuff that was like the issues everybody made a big deal about, it's very fixable.
Right.
Like very, very fixable stuff. So
the gator push, you had to know that there was going to be a problem with that from the start. You had to know.
Yeah, the old gator push.
Well, they're switching it to a gator wrestling, apparently, to Dan Church.
Let's
they have
go.
gator wrestling for an event this coming year.
They can get some gators from Cory down in Louisiana. Take them out there.
The problem is they're going to have to get the exact same gators to wrestle so that everybody has a fair opportunity to pin and win.
Same weight, same tooth length.
Yeah.
Right.
Tooth length is important.
Same bite force. That's probably important.
Yeah. Same age.
Fun.
You don't want a geriatric gator and then a young spry gator.
Yeah. Yeah. Right. Yeah. I'm optimistic for this year though. I mean, obviously the media has been in a really good direction. I feel like there's some momentum coming off the games. They've kept it through the last couple months. Like to see the Open get really hyped up again. All that stuff.
Cory says, F that, constantly varied gators. Well, I do think they've been heading in the right direction. They had F the quick fix.
Loved it.
Right. That is dwindling down now. And Jenna just announced that their new campaign is starting October 20th.
Okay.
So they have a new one coming out, which I find that's cool.
Mm-hmm.
That now you're getting people excited about the next one before it even happens.
Yep.
Hopefully it lives up to the same thing the same level of what we've seen so far from Jenna and her team.
I feel like it'll be great. I don't know if it'll hit as hard as Fuck the Quick Fix did. Cause that was like, we hadn't had anything like that in years,
Yeah.
I mean, I remember when I opened my phone and I saw that, I was like, yeah, we're back. So
I do hope it is though, kind of the attack on the GLP-1s and at least have that like one thing we can gather around and go against.
Mm-hmm.
Cause that's what we've been missing.
Yeah. They haven't had a common enemy.
Yeah. Can you truly standardize a machine?
I mean, yes, technically, but there's probably some variance at all the events between machine to machine. We've learned it's a lot easier to standardize a C-tube machine than a air assault machine. So
yeah, anything with a fan though is going to have a variance.
Yeah.
And that is every machine.
Yeah. You can't, I mean, even just the chain, the fan, the sensors, the C2 stuff is usually close enough that it's not really throwing anybody for a loop though.
Yeah. Cause we've even had trouble with the runners, right?
Mm-hmm. What was it? Europe a couple years ago, there was like that one lane. It was the year Kelly made the games. There was like that
lane
one
4 thing.
Lane 4, lane 8, something like that.
Oh, yeah.
There was one of them at West at the West Regional that year that was, I think if you went back and looked at the heat sheets, like that lane was always a little slower. Yeah, lane 8.
Yeah. My favorite memory from that year was Kelly doing the tumble over the sandbag to finish, has the game's position locked up, trips and falls over the sandbag, has to re-clean it.
Dude. And I died inside.
And then them wait 25 minutes to announce
Oh my
whether she
God,
made it or
dude.
not.
Yeah. That was probably the longest 25 minutes of my life at that point. That was I also, now that I'm a little bit away from that, can appreciate how manic I probably looked in the coach's pit. Like trying to do the math, not having enough times, not having enough, like not just trying to figure it out, and then just being absolutely stressed out of my face. It was like the first time I really interacted with Kiefer, and I've always thought in the back of my head, he probably thought I was a psychopath because I was freaking out. But
yeah, I think every coach is doing that in those moments.
Dude, that was rough.
Because the year before that was where, I think it was the year before that at Syndicate, when Rebecca Fuselier made it to the games, and it was 1 point between her and Brooke, 1 point between her and Kelly Clark.
Yeah.
So 2 points separated 4th to 6th.
Yeah.
Can you imagine those coaches afterward?
No. Stressed. Yeah.
Trying to add everything in your head, trying to remember every time.
Yeah. It's so hard to keep track of it all too. And then like you have to have the point table on hand, trying to do math. Yeah.
So how do you have like a piece of paper and you're writing down people's times from other heats that may affect it? Are you
scout team, dog?
You are?
You got to have a scout team.
Oh. So you have someone there
who writes down the time or score of every person and all the heats that go before my athletes.
And then they reorder it for you and tell you.
Well, I'll usually just have that with me. So then I can like Jacob and I did that at TFX. Like he would be in the warm-up area and we would be like, okay, cool. Like this is kind of the top time. This is our game plan. We should be fine. Like you're probably just going to be competitive with the guys in this heat. We shouldn't really have to worry about these guys from the previous heats. Right. Or, okay, this is a really good score. This might hold up. Like, cause this is kind of what we were mathing. So maybe that was a good event for that guy. If we don't know them, like, or know what they're capable of. And then you can I'll reorder them in my phone on a note while my athletes are corralled to know the best time, second, third, fourth, fifth, sixth, etc. And then I'll get the time of when my athlete finished to then put them in that order to know what they got in the event before. So I won't necessarily know the points immediately, but I'll know the placing pretty quickly.
Because that year with Kelly, Bailey came out of nowhere.
She destroyed that event.
And she qualified for the games on that event.
Mm-hmm.
And I wasn't even thinking of her as a factor, but she did so well in the event. She jumped everybody.
It was wild. Yeah, she destroyed that event.
And when they announced her, at that point, I thought Kelly was out.
So did I. Kelly looked over at me at one point and she was like, "What's up?" And I said, "I don't know. Like, I don't know." I had given up trying to do the math. I was like, I'm not going to know. I don't know.
I talked to her backstage right after, and that was her exact. I kept looking at Triston, and he's like, I don't know. I don't know.
I'm sorry. I told her, I don't know. And then she looked away and I got her attention again. And I was like, it's okay. Like, no, it's okay. Like, it's going to be what it's going to be. So
yeah,
that was a wild first semifinal coaching experience. I was at Granite Games the year before with a team, but like having that many indies and a team was a lot.
So what's up next for you?
Some people are doing a local comp here in Houston in December, but I don't think I'm traveling anywhere until TFX. I don't know if I'll make it out to Fittest of the Coast this year. So should just be cruising until TFX, and then it'll be kind of batten down the hatches for the season, because TFX is usually 2 to 3 weeks before the Open. So then it'll be kind of get into all that. So no,
Crash.
sadly. So it's our it's Cory and I's anniversary, Jenny. Our anniversary is the 18th.
And not Cory Leonard.
Yeah, not Cory Leonard. So we're gonna go outside Austin. I wish, JR, if you watch this and you want to do me a favor, never have Crash on the 18th again. That would be great. So can't make it this year. Thank you, Jenny. Won't be able to make it this year. I'm sure eventually I could probably convince my wife to go out there and we could do something for our anniversary a different weekend, but that was not a battle I was going to win for our 1-year anniversary. What do you mean you didn't know?
Well, let me tell you this, as someone who's been married almost 30 years. It's even still tricky.
I'm sure.
Still.
I'm sure. Yeah, it bums me out, but because I loved Crash when I went. I didn't get to go last year, obviously, because it was. I think the date of Crash was the week before our wedding, so I didn't go last year, obviously, and then now I'm not going this year. So I haven't been since I went with Jamie that year.
Nothing says romance like Spartanburg, South Carolina.
Put that on a postcard.
Yeah, Heat 1's for revving up for Crash.
She asked how Jacob will do. I think if Jacob executes well, that he will be on the podium.
Do you feel, I've heard from people who will look at programming, that this seems a little heavy?
Oh,
and
JR.
that would be Jacob's thing.
Yeah. JR flat out said, I think, in the spin when he announced it's the heaviest Crash he's programmed. Which is why, like, as a coach, and I'm obviously biased, I have found some of the predictions a little funny. It's the heaviest Crash ever. The thing Jacob is the best at is picking up heavy objects. He's very strong. So obviously I'm confident that the work we've been doing in the off season has paid off as well on his fitness side. So I'm excited for him to just go and get after it, though. He had a lot of fun at Crash last year. I think he'll do well. I think he'll do very well.
Colton
yes.
Smash.
Yes, Colton Smash for sure. Yeah, Crash is super cool. I'm really bummed that I won't be out there, but 'tis what it is.
Yeah, when Jamie and I were looking at it on Sunday night, like, I think Reese Littlewood is one of the next big things to come down the pipe. But this is not her event.
Mm-mm.
It's just too heavy for her.
Yeah.
And so to me, it's a Kyra Caroline Stanley event.
Yeah, I think those two are going to have a great weekend.
So, will be interesting to see him up against my guy Jace.
Jace will do well.
So,
there's not enough. Jace will do well on the machine event, and Jace will do well on probably the running and pulling event.
Best event?
Ooh, best event. Let me think.
Cory, love your girls. Love talking to them. Think they're awesome. I don't think this weekend is for them in the podium area.
I think his best event will probably be the flip sled strict. I'm trying to think of the other guys in the field a little bit too. Like, what can they do on some of these events? I think that one will probably, press dents. I think that will more than likely be his best event. I think he can do well in most of them. I'm pretty confident in how he can do on open season, which is the front squat workout. But there's a lot that goes into that workout. And I don't know, a hard thing with predicting where your athlete's going to fall is, like, I'm not a full-time analyst, right? I don't know intimately the other guy's abilities. I know what some of these guys are good at and this, that, and the other, but it's not my full-time job.
Yeah. So. Yeah, you didn't make Media Hill last night.
I did not make Media Hill at all.
Yeah.
Nope. The Ascend Athlete podcast did not make Media Hill, sadly.
Were you sad about that? Did you feel friend zoned about that?
I did not feel friend zoned about that. I love doing our podcast. I've done some episodes recently where I've had other coaches on, and that's something I want to get back to after my trip this weekend. But we are a coaching company, not a media company. So the media output on our podcast will always be at the mercy of how busy we are as coaches, because that's what we do, is we coach athletes.
Yeah. I was just giving you shit anyway, but
no, you're good. It's fun.
It was interesting. I will say that it was nice to be mentioned.
I may try to go listen to that just for funsies. I've listened to a couple. I haven't listened
to the whole hill yet, because the Bears were on last night and the Bears won, and I was all about the Bears. And then there was a last minute cancellation with a pulmonology person today, and I took that. So I went up to a neighboring town for that, and I have not been able to go back and watch the whole thing. I did cheat and go to where I was and see what was mentioned about me.
Right.
That's who I am.
Yeah, totally.
It's all about me. And just saw that, but I need to go back and see what they say about all the other media people in this space.
Yeah, I'll be curious what they say.
So
I'll have to go listen to that.
Wait, there's an Ascend podcast. This is why I didn't know we had an anniversary. I'm just hearing of this.
Yes, sir. We sure do.
Cory, I even knew that.
We sure do. Trying to do an episode a week. This one that we did today was just going over the next cycle of programming for our Sugar Wad program and kind of the time of year for one-on-ones. It's fun.
Yeah. I do want to say publicly that Dallin Pepper is my favorite athlete in the CrossFit space. I think he's going to win the 26, the 27, and the 28 games. And Shanna says, Dallin Pepper had nice things to say about you. Oh, did he?
Did he?
I didn't know.
What a coincidence.
Didn't know. But yes, Dallin Pepper will win the next 3 CrossFit games. Handedly.
It'll be a runaway win.
So the media list made just about as much sense as John's Mountain. I agree. I think it's all just willy-nilly, but to be mentioned that they even knew who I was flattering enough for me to be in the runoff section of the mountain. But at least I'm there.
Yeah.
Or not the mountain, the hill, the runoff section.
Media.
At least I wasn't keeping it real down in the trough where all the runoff ends up.
John's Games Mountain episodes, I just ignore like any rational thought to how he picks, because I'm not even concerned about that. I love listening to him and Tyler, just because Tyler just freaks out at some point, and it's so funny.
Yeah. Here's what it is. I thought initially when he first did it, it was pretty creative, and I thought he did a pretty good job. Mm-hmm. I think now he's almost using it as leverage with the athletes. And if you hit his favorite, like Austin Hatfield, mm-hmm. then up the mountain you go. just to back what he's thinking.
Sure. I mean, it's really hard to not have recency bias. It's hard to not have confirmation bias when you like, it's very difficult.
Well, and what's funny about John, and we don't need to go on about him, but he'll be like, what have they done? What have they done? And that's why they're down at base camp, or they're down at, but Austin Hatfield will win the games this year. He's the top of Games Mountain. What has Austin Hatfield done? You just like him, so he's up there.
He gets fired up about it. It's fun.
The criteria is fluid at best.
Yes. Yeah.
But here's the thing. We all watch it. And we all talk about it. So
yeah, it's super entertaining. So it's doing what they need to do. Cory, did I pronounce bias strange?
I'm pronouncing it by ass from now on.
Did I enunciate too much? Redundancy bias.
Yeah.
Cory, you need to come train. I know you don't live that far away.
He's got small children, man. He's got to be in bed by 6:30 p.m.
Bring him. Oh, he needs to come train.
He needs to eat his baby food at. I'm just giving him crap. Because that's why he can never come on the Sunday show or anything. Because like, well, I've got to get my kid into bed, and then that I have to be in bed at like 6:30, and
yeah.
What side of Houston are you on?
The gym is just technically slightly on the west side, but it's in the Heights. It's basically smack dab in the middle of the city. Because Houston is an hour away from Houston. That's a fact.
Cory only has an alligator drawn carriage. It doesn't get a ton of miles.
Yeah, I live in Houston and I drive like 40 minutes to the gym. Houston, yeah, it's.
I hate to keep bringing up Kelly Baker, but I would interview her during when we followed her through the season. And she would say that too, that everything is an hour away in Houston, and so she would be in the car driving, telling me how bad of a driver she is, and then like looking at the phone while she's driving to talk to me. And I'm like, I'm going to get a crash live on air during this thing.
Yep. Houston traffic is crazy too. I mean, Jenny lives north side of Houston. I'm sure she can tell you too. Like, she's still in the chat. The Houston traffic's wild. People drive insane here sometimes. Train mostly by myself.
Dude, I'd love to. I train mostly by myself, but I may be getting a new training partner after next month.
Nice. Training alone could be a grind.
Cory is actually old, and he needs to go to bed that early.
Fair. He needs to recover. He's working hard.
Yeah. Well, man, it's been a blast, but probably time to get back to work.
Unfortunately.
So I got to head back. You knuckleheads, you get back to work as well. And we'll see everybody. And Cory will be on here tomorrow to defend himself from all the hate and vitriol. And we will see him tomorrow with me on lunch with the Clydesdale. Bye, guys.